Hey mate, so a lot of people have really, really shit posture. Like when I'm at work, we all work an office job, so we all sit behind a desk, and like pretty much everyone at my work has shit posture. They're all like, like this, like shoulders shrugged up like that, and they're just like working away like this, right? And I've made it a huge priority of mine to improve my posture, because obviously when you go into the gym, if you've got better posture, it's going to make you just look like better. It's going to make you look like you're more there. It's better than looking like this, like that. If you have your shoulders back and chest out, and that becomes like a normal thing rather than feeling weird, just helps your spine, helps your lower back, just makes you look more confident. And like, when you have good posture, other people around you will like also like notice it and fix their posture, and it just helps. So having good posture is good, right? You already know this. So I'm going to give you some really quick tips in this video on how I have been able to improve my posture from being a guy who used to just play GTA and just sit in my room for hours on end, like playing video games and having shit gamer posture. And it's like, to being someone who can like walk around, and I've like regularly got my chest out, head up, right? And I'm being conscious of it, thinking about it. So the first thing I'm going to give you, the first bit of advice, I need to move this little setup actually first. So the first bit of advice I'm going to give you that is a little like thing you can do. It's a bit uncomfortable, but you don't have to do it all the time. But it helps you sit in your chair or sit on your bed or sit wherever you are with like the correct posture. So all you need to think about if you want to sit like in your chair with your shoulders back is your knees need to be below your hips, right? And this is something I found on like a YouTube short, and it's actually been helping me a lot to sit more upright, especially when I'm editing. Sometimes when I'm sat in this chair, I'll just do this so I can like, concentrate on having good posture. So now I am sat with like my back perfectly straight and well. And the way I'm doing that is I've got my knees below my hips. So my feet are like underneath. My feet are underneath my legs, underneath my bum, right? And it's actually quite comfortable to sit like this. And when you do this, like you could try this right now whilst you're watching the video. If you're in your chair or sit on your bed or anything like that, just like sit up and put your knees there and your legs underneath it, and then kind of sit on your feet. And then you'll notice as soon as your knees are at the same level or slightly lower than your hips, you're just naturally going to sit with a straight back, right? Instead of being like this. So usually when I'm sat in a chair, my back is like slumped over a little bit. So if I sit with my legs normally like, on the ground, my back is kind of constantly just in like that, right? But when you notice you do this and you sit on your feet, it's weird. I don't know how it works, but it just forces you to sit upright. And that's the first tip, right? So sometimes when I'm editing videos, I'll sit like this for maybe 20 minutes or something, just to edit like a video. To me, to edit a video only takes like 20 minutes. So I'll sit for like 20 minutes like this. And it does, I'm not gonna lie, it gets a little bit uncomfortable on your feet after a while. So maybe it might be easier if you do it in your bed or something like that. But that's the first bit of advice. Okay, the second bit of advice I've got for you is imagine when you are walking on the street that you have a tennis ball, and you're gonna put the tennis ball on your back, and imagine if you needed to hold that tennis ball in your back, right? You would use your scapula, right? Which is like your, if you feel your back now, you've got like your shoulder blades. How would you hold that apple in your back so that it held in your back like that? Because if you have your shoulders forwards like that, the apple's gonna fall from your back, right? But if you pin your shoulders back and you try and imagine like squeezing an apple or something, or a tennis ball in your back to kind of hold it, that's kind of how you should walk, right? So your shoulders should just be back, and that automatically brings your chest out, and that automatically kind of puts your head up a bit. So when you're walking around, you're gonna notice that your head's gonna be up a bit, and you're gonna have, you're trying to hold like a tennis ball in your back or something. And that's just a nice visual kind of way that sometimes when I find myself walking, I go for like a walk or something, I'll notice I'm just kind of walking with my shoulders forward, just not really thinking about a posture. And that little like kind of visualization always pops up in my head. I'm like, oh, hold the apple, hold the tennis ball in my shoulder blades, and that just automatically like brings everything back and puts my chest out and just makes me have better posture. And yeah, that's literally the two methods that I'm currently like using to have better posture. So, sat like this, immediately, I'm not in frame anymore, but whoa, just sat like this, and I'm not really in frame anymore. But immediately, as soon as I put my, I'm sat on my feet and my knees are below my hips, immediately I can just tell like my lower back, all the kind of like, the weight and the load is just taken off of my lower back. And I'm kind of in just a better, let me see if I can move this. I'm just in a better, like, it just feels better to sit like this. And then, yeah, the next thing is, don't be like this when you're walking about or doing anything. Think about having a tennis ball on your back. You've got to squeeze the tennis ball, and it just kind of, yeah. You could also think of it like when you're going down to do bench press, you know, you always kind of bring your shoulders back when you're about to go on bench press. That's kind of how you should like walk around, right? So yeah, that's the only 2 things that I'm doing currently to help with my posture. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully some of this advice was helpful to you. Let me know how it does for you in the comments if you do try these 2 things. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.